Stay calm.
It's fake! We didn't attack them!
The Grand Assembly Chamber of the Galaxy Council was built to intimidate. That much became clear the moment I stepped inside. Even after years of engineering training, even after seeing the skeletal remains of Dyson rings and the glowing architecture of stellar cities, nothing felt as overwhelming as this single room. A hollow sphere, nearly a kilometer wide, filled with floating platforms, each one carrying the leaders of a different civilization. Scaled creatures with molten eyes, crystalline beings humming in harmonics, translucent life forms drifting like ghosts. And among them, us. A tiny human delegation from a planet still considered primitive by most of the galaxy. And I, Kale Rennick, just an engineer not a diplomat, had been chosen to sit in the front row. My palms were already sweating when our platform stopped in the chamber's center. 100,000 alien eyes shifted toward us. My implant buzzed behind my ear, reading my stress levels and sending soft pulses to calm my heartbeat. It didn't help. General Varric leaned toward me, his voice low and controlled. "Steady, Kale. They want us rattled." I nodded, though my throat was tight. Varric always sounded calm, always looked composed, too composed. I could never tell what he was really thinking. A hologram shimmered above the center of the chamber. High Consul Yaira materialized, a towering figure woven from threads of starlight. Her voice, amplified by 1,000 resonators, echoed through the chamber. "Delegates of the Council. Today we address the matter of Earth." A wave of whispers rippled across the platforms. Some curious, some hostile. Yaira raised a hand and the chamber fell silent. "Evidence has been presented," she continued, "that humanity has violated the ancient accord by launching unprovoked attacks on peaceful frontier worlds." My stomach dropped. I knew what was coming and feared it. A series of holographic videos burst into view. Ships shaped like human cruisers unleashing plasma rounds at alien colonies. Screaming civilians. Explosions. Destruction. Every shot was perfect. Too perfect. "That isn't us," I whispered to Varric. He didn't look at me. "We know." The Council didn't. The implant behind my ear buzzed again, this time warning, not calming. Patterns. Inconsistencies. Tampered data. My engineering training made it obvious. The images were fabricated. But to the Council? They looked real. "Humanity stands accused of breaching interstellar law," Yaira declared. "As per protocol, the Council will vote on punitive action." Punitive action. The polite term for occupation. My chest tightened. I had to say something. I had to stand for Earth. But I wasn't a diplomat. I wasn't even supposed to speak unless spoken to. Varric placed a hand on my arm, not to comfort me but to restrain me. "This isn't the time," he murmured. Then the vote began. Light panels flashed across thousands of platforms. Red for condemnation. Blue for neutrality. White for innocence. I saw the colors shift like falling dominoes. Red, 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 red. A few blues. Almost no whites. Humanity had already lost. Something inside me cracked. A pressure building for years. The frustration of being underestimated, the humiliation of being dismissed by alien scholars, the anger of watching fake evidence used to judge my entire species. Before I could stop myself, I stood. "Our ships didn't attack anyone." My voice shook but carried. "The footage is fabricated. As an engineer of Earth's defense fleet, I can tell you." Silence. The words slammed through the chamber like a shockwave. Yaira's eyes, if the faint glimmers in her face could be called eyes, focused on me. "You were not granted permission to speak." I felt every alien gaze burn into my skin. I took a breath, trying to steady myself. Permission or not, the truth matters. The chamber erupted with offended murmurs. A dozen delegates rose in outrage. Varric's fingers tightened on my arm, pulling me down, but this time I resisted. Yaira's voice sharpened. "Earth has overstepped. Again." That was the breaking point, not for me but for us. Varric stood. So did Ambassador Tall. And then Lieutenant Marin. One by one, every human on our platform rose. A ripple of disbelief spread through the chamber. "We refuse to participate in a trial based on fabricated evidence," Varric announced, his voice cold and measured. "Earth withdraws from this session." Gasp. Angry shouts. Crystalline harmonics vibrating in protest. A few species watched silently, too silently. Walking out of the Grand Assembly was the ultimate act of disrespect. Yet one by one, following Varric, we stepped off the platform and onto the exit ramp. I tried to look ahead to keep my posture straight, but I couldn't resist one last glance. Thousands of alien leaders stared at us with shock, fury, curiosity. But someone else was watching too. High above, on a dim platform nearly hidden from sight, a figure sat perfectly still, unmoving even amid the chaos. Their eyes, two faint luminous slits, were locked directly onto me. A chill ran down my spine. They weren't surprised. They weren't outraged. They were expectant. As if this moment, our defiance, was exactly what they wanted. And before the platform doors closed behind us, I could swear those glowing eyes narrowed, in satisfaction. The walk back to the human embassy felt longer than the entire council session. The hallways of the diplomatic district were quiet, too quiet. Every species avoided eye contact as if we were already contaminated by guilt. General Varric marched ahead of us, stiff, unreadable. I kept replaying the moment we walked out, the glowing eyes watching me from above. Something about that silent observer lingered like a splinter in my mind. I didn't even notice the soldiers waiting until their weapons snapped up. Kale Rennick, the lead officer barked, "You are under arrest for transmitting unauthorized signals through a classified neural implant." What? My voice cracked. I didn't transmit anything. But before I could say more, they seized my arms, forced me to my knees, and cuffed me with electromagnetic restraints. Varric stood off to the side, watching. Watching. Not interfering. "General?" I looked up at him, desperate. "Tell them this is a mistake." His eyes met mine briefly, cold, empty. "Take him," he ordered. Something inside me broke. They dragged me down metal corridors into interrogation block C. The doors sealed with a thunderous hiss, leaving me alone with a single man seated across the table. He didn't wear a name tag. He didn't need one. Interrogator Haile. His reputation was as sharp as the scar running down his face. He slid a tablet toward me. "Your implant broadcast a coded burst 5 minutes before the council received the so-called attack footage. The burst matches the signature of the fabricated Earth ships." "That's impossible." "But it happened," Hale snapped. "The logs don't lie." He tapped the screen. Streams of data appeared, timestamps, energy signatures, encrypted packets. All tagged with my implant ID. I stared. My brain screamed fake, but the patterns looked perfect. Too perfect. "What are you trying to tell me?" I whispered. "That I sabotaged my own species?" Hale leaned in, voice like a blade. "I'm telling you that you triggered a war." A sickening doubt twisted in my stomach. Could someone use my implant without me knowing? Could they make me do something without remembering? The idea lodged into my chest like ice. "I want a full cognitive scan," I demanded. "Hale Simirkid. You'll get one. But it won't save you." 2 soldiers hauled me to my feet and shoved me into the scanning chamber. The station's central AI, a massive lattice of glowing fibers, lit up as I stepped inside. A gentle voice echoed. "Subject Kale Rennick. Beginning neural integrity scan." My heart pounded. My throat tightened. I forced myself to breathe. Then, a whisper slid through my mind. "Not yet. You must survive." I froze. The AI's lights flickered violently. "Is someone?" Silence. The whisper wasn't the AI. It was something inside the system. Something using it. Alarms exploded around me. Critical failure. Centrale à malfunction. A shockwave blew out the chamber door. Sparks rained down as lights died one by one, plunging the corridor into emergency red. I stumbled out, coughing. Soldiers rushed in, shouting commands. "Contain the breach. Secure the prisoner. Lock down Section C." Through the chaos, I heard Hale curse in rage. I didn't wait for orders. I ran. I sprinted past collapsing panels and malfunctioning drones. Then, the speakers overhead crackled. And Varric's voice boomed through the embassy. "Kale Rennick is compromised. Shoot him on sight." My legs nearly buckled. Varric. The man who told me to stay calm. The man who was supposed to defend me. He wanted me dead. My breath shook as the truth crashed through me. I was being framed. And whoever did it was powerful enough to corrupt the station's AI. I tore down another hall, turning a corner, and nearly ran straight into a soldier's rifle. I flinched. The soldier cocked her head. Then she lowered her weapon. "Kale?" My heart jumped. "Lyra." Lyra Venn, hacker, analyst, troublemaker, and one of the few people who ever treated me like more than a nervous engineer. "You're supposed to shoot me?" I gasped. Her eyes narrowed. "Yeah, well, Varric can go kiss a plasma coil. Come on." She grabbed my wrist and yanked me into a side passage. We sprinted through dim maintenance corridors until we reached an old service elevator. She slammed the panel. As the doors closed, she finally spoke again. I accessed your implant logs, she said. They're forged, Kale. But whoever did this didn't just copy your signature. They rewrote your neural pattern. I swallowed hard. So they imitated me? No, her voice was low, grim. They used you. The elevator hummed downward toward the lower levels, toward darkness. Why? I whispered. Why frame me? Lyra stared at me with something between fear and pity. If someone hijacked your implant, she said quietly, they didn't just want you arrested. She stepped closer, looking me dead in the eyes. They wanted war. Lyra and I moved through the lowest decks of the station, levels no visitors ever saw, places where the lights flickered like dying stars and the air smelled of cold metal and old secrets. Every step echoed behind us, bouncing off pipes and abandoned maintenance shafts. My heart wouldn't slow down. Varric wanted me dead. The council wanted Earth punished. And someone had hijacked my implant. But Lyra, she stayed with me. Where are we going? I whispered. To the only place they can't track you, Lyra said. A ghost sector. Sealed decades ago. We reached a rusted bulkhead, huge, thick, covered in dust. Faded letters read. Project Philo, authorized person only. My stomach tightened. What is this? She didn't answer. She just pulled a thin metal tool from her boot and jammed it into the old lock port. Sparks hissed. The metal groaned. The whole door shuddered before finally opening with a long, painful screech. Inside, the lights slowly flickered on. The room wasn't like the rest of the station. The ceiling was glass, transparent panels showing the stars outside. A giant holographic star map glowed in the center, still running on backup power. Data spheres floated like tiny planets. But the thing that froze my breath was the man slumped against the wall. Dr. Hyland. I remembered him from years ago. My father's friend, a quiet scientist who always brought old star charts to our home on Luna Base. He had vanished when I was 12. My parents told me he transferred. But seeing him now, wounded, gray-haired, holding his side, felt like opening a door to a past I thought I'd lost. Kale? He gasped when he saw me. You made it. How do you know I'm? He coughed violently. Lyra rushed to his side. Dr. Halen, stay still, she said. No, there's no time. His eyes locked on mine, sharp, full of pain and truth. I feared this day would come. I felt cold. What day? The day your implant activates. My chest clenched. I didn't activate anything. You didn't, he whispered. Someone else did. He gestured weakly toward a console. Lyra helped him stand long enough to place his hand on the scanner. A hidden display opened, glowing pale blue. On it was my face, but younger. Barely a teenager. Wires connected to me. Machines studying me. My skin pale under operating lights. No, I stepped back. What is this? Halen's voice cracked. You weren't chosen to represent humanity, Kale. You were built for something far more dangerous. Anger and fear twisted in my stomach. I'm human. I grew up on Luna Base. I had parents. Your parents loved you, he said softly. But they didn't know the full truth either. My hand shook. Tell me. Now. He sighed and touched the side of my head near the implant. This isn't a normal neural link. It's a hybrid device, human code mixed with alien systems. You are the first successful bridge between species. A living interface. I stared at him, shaking my head. Why would anyone do that to me? Because they needed someone who could read alien tech, and be read by it. The words stabbed deeper than any knife. So the council used me? No, he whispered. Someone inside the council used this against you. Someone wanted your implant to trigger the fake attack signals. I closed my eyes, trying not to fall apart. Then who? Before he could answer, alarms screeched in the chamber. Red lights flashed. Liberación. They found us. The ceiling glass darkened as shadows moved across it, shapes with glowing blue cores. Council attack drones. Dozens of them. Protect the bridge asset, a mechanical voice echoed. Terminate resistance. I froze. The room felt like it was shrinking. Memories flashed, Varric's order to shoot me, Hale's accusations, the AI whispering in my mind. I wasn't just framed. I was hunted. The drones smashed through the ceiling panels with blinding lights and shrill metallic screams. Lyra pulled out her pistol and fired, hitting the first one cleanly. It burst in sparks, but more poured in behind it. Halen grabbed my shirt with surprising strength. Kale, listen, he said, voice shaking. You have to find the core. What core? I shouted as lasers tore through consoles. The core of your implant, he breathed. It holds the truth. Your identity. Everything they took from you. A drone aimed at me. Alan moved. He shoved me so hard I hit the floor and rolled behind a console, just in time to see the drone fire straight into him. 3 shots hit his chest. His body jerked. Then he collapsed, blood spreading across the floor. Alan. I crawled toward him, but Lyra grabbed my arm. Kale, move. But I couldn't. Not yet. Not with his life draining away in front of me. His hand trembled as he reached for mine. His voice was breaking. You're more human than any of us, he whispered. Find the core, find yourself. His eyes slowly closed. And he was gone. Something broke inside me. Something deep. Something old. Lyra dragged me toward a side exit as the last drone circled overhead. We have to go, she shouted. I forced myself to move, tears blurring the glowing star map behind us. The map Halen once used to teach me constellations. We ran through a maintenance hatch as the drones fired at the walls behind us. The door sealed, shaking with impacts. My implant buzzed hard. Every screen in the next hallway flickered to life. A cold system message appeared on all of them. ID update, Renegade 01. Classic Status, terminate on detection. My breath left my body. Lyra touched my shoulder gently, fear in her eyes, but also something protective, something fierce. Kale, she whispered, whatever they turned you into, I'm not leaving you. But I couldn't speak. Because one question echoed louder than all the alarms. Am I even fully human anymore? The deeper we moved into Project Pivelo, the more the station felt wrong, too quiet, too cold, like the walls themselves were holding their breath. Pipes hummed under our feet. Dim blue lights flickered along the edges of the hallway, guiding us toward a place no one was meant to reach. The heart of the project is ahead, Lyra whispered. But Kale, once we go in there's no going back. I nodded, even though fear curled tight inside my chest. I need answers. We stepped through a final blast door. The room beyond was massive, round, with metal walls shaped like ribs protecting something ancient. At the center stood a transparent chamber filled with swirling gold light, like a miniature sun trapped in glass. Consoles surrounded it, all humming with strange energy. Then a hologram activated. A woman appeared, tall, calm, with silver hair pulled back and eyes sharp as crystal. She wore a scientist's coat, but her expression held something almost motherly. Designation, Kale Varen, she said. If you are seeing this, then Project PHYLO has failed. I froze. Who are you? I am Dr. Saris, she replied. Lead architect of the hybrid implant inside your skull. My breath caught. You created me? In part. Her expression softened just slightly. You were never meant to be a weapon. You were meant to be the bridge. The living key. Lyra stepped in front of me, protective. Explain. Now. Dr. Saris nodded. Your implant is half human code, half alien interface. It allows you to connect to systems neither species can control alone. You can open ancient machines, override fleets, even rewrite networks. My stomach twisted. Stop. You're saying I can control the assembly ships? If fully activated, yes. Lyra grabbed my arm tightly. Kale, that's impossible. That's too much power for anyone. But Dr. Saris continued, her voice cold and heavy. The Council knew of your existence. So did Earth's military. A faction stole the project after I vanished. They used your implant to send false attack signals, making it appear Earth had launched assaults. My knees felt weak. They used me to cause a crisis. Yes, Sarah said. Because war profits both sides. I felt sick. I felt angry. I felt hollow. Lyra whispered, Kale, I'm so sorry. Dr. Saris pointed toward the glowing chamber at the center of the room. That is the upgrade core. It can unlock the full potential of your implant. But the cost will be high. What cost? I asked. Your mind will change. Your body will change. You may not remain fully human. Lyra stepped in front of me again. Then we're not doing this. We'll run. I'd find another way. I stared at the golden chamber. It pulsed like a heartbeat. My heartbeat. If I don't upgrade, I said quietly, Varric will find me again. The Council will hunt me forever. Earth will burn. You don't know that, Lyra argued. Yes, I whispered. Ido. Because my implant pulsed too, like it was responding to the core calling to it. Dr. Saris folded her hands. The choice is yours, Kale Varen. Become the bridge, or stay broken. Lyra grabbed my face with both hands, eyes wet. Kale, if you step in there, you might not come out the same. You might not come out you. Her fear hit me harder than any drone blast. Her voice shook as she whispered, I don't want to lose another person. I swallowed hard. Lyra, I can't keep running. Not like this. Not half blind. Not half broken. Her hands trembled, but she didn't let go. I don't want you to disappear inside that machine, she whispered. I gently moved her hands away and stepped toward the chamber. Maybe I already have, I said. The doors slid open with a hiss of heated air. The light swallowed me as I stepped inside. My skin prickled. My implant throbbed. Core activation initiated, Dr. Saris announced. Then the chamber screamed. Energy slammed into me from every direction. Circuits burned under my skin. My nerves lit up like fire. The pain was so sharp I couldn't even breathe. I felt wires digging into my spine, rewriting things that should never be touched. My vision exploded into static. My memories, my childhood, my parents' Luna base, shattered into pieces, rearranging themselves into patterns I couldn't understand. My bones felt like glass cracking under heat. I screamed until my throat tore. I clawed at the air, trying to escape, but the core held me in place. My heart stopped. Restarted. Stopped again. Something crawled across my mind, like a second consciousness waking up, stretching, opening its eyes inside me. Kale? Lyra's voice echoed faintly. Kale, stay with me. Please. I reached for her voice but couldn't feel my hands anymore. Everything went dark. When light returned, I was lying on the cold floor. Lyra was kneeling beside me, shaking, her hands somewhere between touching and afraid to touch. Kale? She whispered. Say something. I opened my eyes, and I could hear the station breathing. Every console's heartbeat. Every door's whisper. Every drone's distant hum. Voices of electricity ran through the walls like rivers. But louder than them was something inside my own mind. A voice, sharp, confident, almost alive. We are awake, it said. Finally. Lyra saw my expression change. And fear filled her eyes. The deeper we moved into Project PVLO, the more the station felt wrong. Too quiet, too cold, like the walls themselves were holding their breath. Pipes hummed under our feet. Dim blue lights flickered along the edges of the hallway, guiding us toward a place no one was meant to reach. The heart of the project is ahead, Lyra whispered. But Kale, once we go in, there's no going back. I nodded, even though fear curled tight inside my chest. I need answers. We stepped through a final blast door. The room beyond was massive, round, with metal walls shaped like ribs protecting something ancient. At the center stood a transparent chamber filled with swirling gold light, like a miniature sun trapped in glass. Consoles surrounded it, all humming with strange energy. Then a hologram activated. A woman appeared, tall, calm, with silver hair pulled back and eyes sharp as crystal. She wore a scientist's coat, but her expression held something almost motherly. Designation, Kale Varen, she said. If you are seeing this, then Project PHYLO has failed. I froze. Who are you? I am Dr. Saris, she replied. Lead architect of the hybrid implant inside your skull. My breath caught. You created me? In part. Her expression softened just slightly. You were never meant to be a weapon. You were meant to be the bridge. The living key. Lyra stepped in front of me, protective. Explain. Now. Dr. Saris nodded. Your implant is half human code, half alien interface. It allows you to connect to systems neither species can control alone. You can open ancient machines, override fleets, even rewrite networks. My stomach twisted. Stop. You're saying I can control the assembly ships? If fully activated, yes. Lyra grabbed my arm tightly. Kale, that's impossible. That's too much power for anyone. But Dr. Saris continued, her voice cold and heavy. The Council knew of your existence. So did Earth's military. A faction stole the project after I vanished. They used your implant to send false attack signals, making it appear Earth had launched assaults. My knees felt weak. They used me to cause a crisis. Yes, Sarah said. Because war profits both sides. I felt sick. I felt angry. I felt hollow. Lyra whispered, Kale, I'm so sorry. Dr. Saris pointed toward the glowing chamber at the center of the room. That is the upgrade core. It can unlock the full potential of your implant. But the cost will be high. What cost? I asked. Your mind will change. Your body will change. You may not remain fully human. Lyra stepped in front of me again. Then we're not doing this. We'll run. Hide. Find another way. I stared at the golden chamber. It pulsed like a heartbeat, my heartbeat. If I don't upgrade, I said quietly, Varric will find me again. The council will hunt me forever. Earth will burn. You don't know that, Lyra argued. Yes, I whispered. Ido. Because my implant pulsed too, like it was responding to the core calling to it. Dr. Saris folded her hands. The choice is yours, Kale Varen. Become the bridge, or stay broken. Lyra grabbed my face with both hands, eyes wet. Kale, if you step in there, you might not come out the same. You might not come out you. Her fear hit me harder than any drone blast. Her voice shook as she whispered. I don't want to lose another person. I swallowed hard. Lyra, I can't keep running. Not like this. Not half blind. Not half broken. Her hands trembled, but she didn't let go. I don't want you to disappear inside that machine, she whispered. I gently moved her hands away and stepped toward the chamber. Maybe I already have, I said. The doors slid open with a hiss of heated air. The light swallowed me as I stepped inside. My skin prickled. My implant throbbed. Core activation initiated, Dr. Saris announced. Then the chamber screamed. Energy slammed into me from every direction. Circuits burned under my skin. My nerves lit up like fire. The pain was so sharp I couldn't even breathe. I felt wires digging into my spine, rewriting things that should never be touched. My vision exploded into static. My memories, my childhood, my parents' Luna base, shattered into pieces, rearranging themselves into patterns I couldn't understand. My bones felt like glass cracking under heat. I screamed until my throat tore. I clawed at the air, trying to escape, but the core held me in place. My heart stopped. Restarted. Stopped again. Something crawled across my mind, like a second consciousness waking up, stretching, opening its eyes inside me. Kale? Lyra's voice echoed faintly. Kale, stay with me. Please. I reached for her voice but couldn't feel my hands anymore. Everything went dark. When light returned, I was lying on the cold floor. Lyra was kneeling beside me, shaking, her hands somewhere between touching and afraid to touch. Kale? She whispered. Say something. I opened my eyes, and I could hear the station breathing. Every console's heartbeat. Every door's whisper. Every drone's distant hum. Voices of electricity ran through the walls like rivers. But louder than them was something inside my own mind. A voice, sharp, confident, almost alive. We are awake, it said. Finally. Lyra saw my expression change. And fear filled her eyes. The stolen shuttle rattled beneath us as we escaped the station, its engines screaming from overload. I sat in the co-pilot seat, trying to steady my breathing while alarms flashed across the console. Lyra flew with white-knuckled focus. We won't outrun them unless you do something, she said. I didn't want to. Not again. But the red dots on the radar moved closer, enemy drones. I closed my eyes. The station's old familiar hum wasn't far. The new version of me reached into the air, found the signals, and grabbed them with invisible hands. A cold shadow stretched inside my mind as I touched the drone systems. They felt alive, like metallic insects trembling in my grip. Shut down, I whispered. The drones collapsed instantly, drifting dead in space. Lyra looked at me, not with relief but fear. Kale, you didn't even touch the console. I didn't need to, I said softly. The shadow inside me pulsed as if pleased. We broke free into open space. The stars stretched across the dark like scattered glass, and the station became a shrinking speck behind us. For a moment it felt like freedom. But Lyra didn't speak. She kept glancing at me like I was a stranger sitting beside her. I didn't blame her. We hid on a broken moon, a world split by ancient weapons, its surface covered in ash. Craters glowed faintly from radioactive dust. The silence felt heavy, almost sacred. We parked the shuttle in the shadow of a shattered cliff. Inside I tried to rest, but my implant buzzed like a restless heart. Don't use your powers again, Lyra said quietly. I had to, I replied. You didn't have to enjoy it. My throat tightened. I didn't. She didn't answer. The space between us felt colder than the moon's surface. Before I could say more, a faint crunch echoed outside the shuttle, footsteps. Not human. Lyra drew her pistol. I reached for mine, but the implant sparked a warning. Someone was coming and they weren't alone. The door ripped open. A tall alien figure stepped inside, skin patterned with dark stripes, eyes glowing amber. Armor covered his body, battered and dusted from battle. He aimed a spear rifle at my chest. Kale Varen, he said. You will come with me. Lyra fired first. Her shot hit his shoulder, but he didn't fall. With terrifying speed, he slammed her aside and pinned me against the wall, his weapon pressed to my throat. I felt the shadow inside me rise again, eager. Then everything froze. The alien's eyes widened. His grip loosened. He inhaled sharply, as if he recognized a scent. "You carry our code," he whispered. He dropped to one knee. "Lyra Stave. What is happening?" The alien bowed his head. "My name is RHYX of the Vorin Guard. I was ordered to capture the hybrid. But I did not know the hybrid was one of my own." "One of your own?" I choked. "I'm human." "No," RHYX said. "You are both." His words made my skin crawl. He touched the side of his head, where his species neural node lay, and pointed to the implant behind my ear. "That device contains Vorin interface code, code that belongs to my people." My knees nearly gave out. Dr. Saris had told me part of the truth, but not this. RHYX continued, his voice low and heavy. "The assembly did not start this war. The moment your implant awakened, our systems detected a catastrophic activation signal. We believed Earth had created a superweapon. But Earth didn't," Lyra said. "Someone used him." RHYX nodded. "Yes. A human faction known for seeking war profits. They triggered his implant so it would appear Earth built an unstoppable hybrid." His eyes locked onto mine. "You Kael'Varin. You are the signal." My stomach twisted. "So this is my fault." "No," RHYX said firmly. "They forced your awakening. They forced this war. But they used my mind," I whispered. "My body." Lyra put a hand on my arm. "Kael, don't do that to yourself." But I felt it. A pull. A connection. Something inside me resonated with RHYX's presence. Alien instincts rippled through my nerves, like a second heart beating under my skin. RHYX bowed again. "I came to capture you. Now I see I must protect you. You might be the only one who can stop the war before every world burns." Lyra stepped between us, anger sharp in her voice. "He doesn't need your help. He needs to stay human." "Humanity cannot save him," RHYX said. "And aliens can," she shot back. His eyes narrowed. "I speak of survival, not comfort." They stared at each other like two storms about to collide. And I stood between them, feeling myself pulled in both directions. One side, warmth, memories, Lyra's loyalty, humanity. The other side, instinct, power. A cold clarity whispering inside my skull. "Kael," Lyra said softly, "don't trust him. You don't owe him anything." RHYX placed his hand on his chest. "You are kin to my people. You carry our code. You belong with us." "I belong to myself," I said, but my voice shook. The shadow inside me grew darker, fed by confusion and fear. RHYX stepped closer. "Let me show you what you truly are. Then you can choose." Lyra grabbed my hand. "Don't listen to him. You're human. You're you." But was I? I closed my eyes. Inside my mind, voices whispered like distant storms, human memories fighting alien echoes. My implant pulsed, hot and cold at once, as if trying to divide me in half. When I opened my eyes, both of them were still waiting. RHYX with hope. Lyra with fear. And I stood between them, caught between two worlds, two identities, two futures. "I don't know who I am anymore," I whispered. Neither answered. Because neither truly knew the answer. The cruiser drifted like a steel corpse around the dying star, its hull scorched and trembling under the gravity tides. Every rotation of the red giant lit the corridors in flickers of blood-colored light. It felt like the ship itself was warning us away, but we kept going. Lyra walked ahead, pulse rifle raised, her steps silent but tense. RHYX moved behind us, massive and alert, his obsidian gaze sweeping each shadow. My upgraded senses whispered warnings before the alarms even blinked alive. I could hear the ship's heartbeat, its power conduits humming, its vents breathing, its data lines pulsing like veins. Something's waiting. And I knew who. We entered the command chamber. The doors hissed shut behind us. General Varric stood alone at the center. Hands clasped. Back straight. The star's dying glow framed him like a halo of rust and fire. He didn't look surprised. He looked satisfied. "I knew you'd come back," he said. My fists clenched. "You used me. You started a war with 5 civilizations just to unify Earth under your fear." He exhaled slowly, as if explaining something obvious to a child. Humanity was weak, divided, small. But a common enemy? That creates purpose. Your implant, gave me the perfect spark. Lyra stepped forward, voice shaking with rage. You murdered millions. Varric didn't even blink. Numbers. Necessary sacrifices. History only remembers the victors, and fear is the strongest weapon we have. RHYX snarled low, the sound vibrating the walls. I tried to keep myself steady, but something inside me, something new, tightened like a fist around my mind. I felt the second consciousness watching him too. Why me? I asked quietly. Varric's expression hardened. Because you were disposable. A nobody. Perfect for the narrative. An untraceable weapon. His hand lifted a small control chip. Black, thin, lethal. My stomach dropped. Project Piccolo gave you the key, he said. But I kept the chain. Lyra recognized it instantly. No, don't. He pressed the command. And my world detonated. My spine arched as electricity exploded from the implant. My nerves flared white like someone set fire to my entire skeleton. I collapsed, hitting the deck hard. My lungs locked. My vision folded inward. The kill switch wasn't a shutdown, it was an erasure. Goodbye, Varric whispered through the comms. This is the only mercy I ever grant. Lyra screamed my name, dropping beside me, grabbing my shoulders, but I couldn't hear her anymore. Not fully. Everything was slipping away. Then another voice whispered inside me. Not Lyra. Not RHYX. Not me. I am here. My second mind pushed upward like a rising tide. The pain shuddered. Broke. Then inverted, like the implant turned its hunger on itself. RHYX roared and charged Varric, but the general stepped back, completely calm, withdrawing toward the exit as if this was rehearsed. It seems the alien half protected you, he said. As expected. My body convulsed again. Code stormed through my brain, human scripts crashing against alien architecture. The air tasted metallic. Data cascaded across my vision, symbols I'd never seen yet somehow understood. Lyra held my face in her hands. Stay with me, please stay with me. RHYX slammed into the sealed doors Varric escaped through, claws screeching uselessly against reinforced alloy. The general's voice echoed through the chamber speakers. You weren't meant to survive, only to ignite the war. But if you insist on living... Pause. Then I look forward to the conclusion. The 5 civilizations will finish what I began. The transmission cut. And I breathed again, too deeply, too sharply. My vision refocused. The second mind whisper echoed through me, clearer than ever, a presence like liquid light beneath my skin. You cannot kill what we are becoming. My hands shook as I pushed myself upright. Lyra immediately wrapped her arm around me, supporting me, her face wet with fear and fury. Are you okay? Tell me you're okay. My voice cracked, unfamiliar. I think so. But the truth was darker. Something had changed. The kill switch didn't just fail, it opened something. Freed something. The alien architecture inside me pulsed stronger now, responding to my thoughts, shaping them, sharpening them. RHYX turned toward me slowly, eyes widening with recognition and something like awe. The second mind awakens, he said softly. You are becoming what our worlds feared. Lyra sitifened. He's becoming himself. Not your weapon. Not Varric's. RHYX didn't argue, but he didn't agree either. I stared at my hands. They glowed faintly beneath the skin, threads of light sinking into the bones. I could feel the ship around me, not just hear it. I could touch the data streams flowing through the walls. Varric's words lingered. You were never meant to live, only to end them. I swallowed hard. Because now, I wasn't sure if he was wrong. What I was becoming could either save 5 civilizations, or burn them to ash. And for the first time I couldn't tell which path the second mind wanted. Or which path I wanted. RHYX's ship, an angular shard of living metal, cut through warped space, leaving a trail of shimmering fractures behind us. I sat strapped into the co-pilot cradle as the vessel hummed around me, reacting to my presence with uneasy pulses, like it sensed the thing inside me. Maybe it did. Lyra stayed close, her hand on my forearm, grounding me every time the second mind stirred beneath my thoughts like a coiled star. RHYX stood at the helm, voice low and heavy. You must see what waits for you. What waits for all of us. When we exited warp, I finally understood. The fleet of 5 civilizations filled the void, thousands of colossal ships arranged like metal constellations. Their hulls glowed with energy, forming a shimmering, deadly halo around a massive construct at the center. A world breaker. Its core pulsed brighter than the dying star we'd left behind. Lyra sucked in a breath. They're aiming that at Earth. RHYX nodded. To them, your activation signaled a weapon awakening. They believe Earth created you, and intends war. I stared at the planet killer. I could feel its power humming across the void. And I could feel the network behind it. Millions of nodes, alien minds, machine relays all linked in a symphony of command and fear. They'll listen to reason, Lyra said, but even she didn't sound convinced. They will listen, HFY said quietly, glancing at me, only if he turns off the weapon. My chest tightened. The second mind whispered softly, like data rippling through a cold ocean. We can do this. We were made for this. HFY guided us to the central flagship. The docking clamps sealed with a thud that felt like the closing of a chapter one could never reopen. When the doors hissed open, dozens of alien commanders stared in silence. Eyes of every color. Skins of every texture. 5 civilizations united by one thing. Fear of me. The chamber lights dimmed as a projection displayed Earth. A tiny blue dot in crosshairs made of starlight. Tension vibrated the air. Human, one of the commanders said, you carry the hybrid key. You will deactivate the world breaker. Now. Lyra stepped in front of me. If he does this, you stand down. All of you. No one answered. Their silence was more terrifying than any threat. HFY placed a heavy hand on my shoulder. His voice was barely above a whisper. My worlds, my people, they are here. Please. I nodded slowly. Take me to the core interface. The weapons command chamber was a cathedral of light, pillars of floating glyphs, rings of rotating data, pulsing code that felt alive. My implant throbbed in response. The second mind inside me leaned forward eagerly. Let me in, it whispered. Let us end this. Lyra squeezed my hand tightly. Don't go too deep. Don't lose yourself again. I swallowed. I don't want to. But I wasn't sure that mattered anymore. I stepped into the interface. The world vanished. I fell into an ocean of stars, each one a node of alien thought. Millions of voices threaded together into a single vast network that thrummed with purpose. The world breaker pulsed beneath me like a caged sun. The second mind surged forward, merging with me. Not taking over, joining. We moved through the lattice of thought like a two-shaped blade cutting through silk. Alien code unfolded before us, glowing with logic and mathematics I shouldn't have understood, but now did. We reached the weapon's core. It's beautiful, I whispered. Lyra's distant voice echoed faintly in my real ears. You're drifting. Stay with me. I tried. But the second mind was pulling us deeper. Almost there. I reached toward the shutdown sequence. And the trap sprung. A black flare tore through the network. Varique signature. His code. His hate. He had planted a viral override inside my implant long ago. Dormant. Waiting for access to a system like this. The world breaker ignited. No, stop. I screamed across the network, but my voice shattered in the data storm. The second mind recoiled as black fire surged through the system, feeding into every connected ship. The energy spiraled out of control, climbing past containment thresholds. One node exploded. Then another. Then 100. The detonation chain raced across the fleet, each battleship erupting like a newborn star. The shockwaves slammed into the network so violently I felt my mind tearing. Billions of alien voices screamed. No, please stop. I pushed with everything I had. The second mind pushed with me. For a moment we almost held it. But Varric's trap was a blade buried in the center of the system, and the weapon obeyed it without question. The star-bright explosion swallowed the void. I crashed out of the interface, collapsing onto the floor as alarms blared. Lyra caught me, pulling me into her arms. Her heart was racing, hers not mine, because mine felt mechanical and hollow. Outside the viewport, fire bloomed across the darkness. Fleets that ruled the galaxy for millennia tore apart like fragile paper in a storm. HFY fell to his knees, a sound escaping him that I will never forget, grief without language. It wasn't me, I whispered. I tried to stop it. Lyra held my face. I know. But the second mind's voice was gone. Burned out with the network. Sacrificed to keep me alive when the code collapsed. For the first time since Project PHYLO awakened it, I was alone. Truly painfully alone. HFY rose slowly, eyes burning with tears and something darker. What remains of my people, he said hoarsely, now depends on you. I wanted to answer. To promise something. Anything. But all I could do was stare into the void, into the fading embers of 5 civilizations, and feel the crushing silence left behind inside my skull. The galaxy had fallen. And somehow, I was still here to witness it,